this time, oh, now Jesus the reign.
Of the world, and they see fear from many faces. Oh, ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. Even though this time, oh, now Jesus the reign.
na Jesus the reign. This time, na Jesus the reign.
Even for time for trouble, na Jesus the rain. Even oh, even even this time oh, na Jesus the rain. Even
This time, na Jesus the reign.
I dey see trouble for every corner oh. I dey see sickness for every country of the world. I dey see fear for many faces oh. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. Even this time, oh, now Jesus the reign. Yeah, yeah.
This time, na Jesus the reign. This time, na Jesus the reign.
Jesus, you be my papa.
Yes, he reigns, and we all know that he reigns, and that is our Lord. Greetings and 21 gun salute to all in Ambazonia, and those of you who are tuned into ABC Your Amba TV to get the truth and the updates and some instructions and some learning tidbits as to what our revolution is all about. Greetings to all of you and to our ARF. We are in a very precarious situation, and a situation that you must take very good care. And we must warn you and advise you. Those who have ears to hear should hear. We have advanced and we have gone past the age of when things were being hidden from us. We are digging out to give you advice, and if you agree to the advice we are giving you as we continue our digging and finding out, the ignorance that has made so many people to die will be curbed, because we have decided not to allow the public play us games again. Now, our Amber history is what I have been telling you, and in our historical presentation, we want to produce facts. And I told you, listening to the Amber TV, that our history is very unique and can be found out. But you know, something that has happened and is hidden can be found out. But something that has never existed and does not exist, and people try to force into existence, eventually you realize when the truth comes up that it was not a reality. So in our history, we are bringing to you facts and figures with some of the evidences that we can lay hands on so that you know where we are coming from. I want you to listen and listen very well. When we come to our history and we are repeating things over and over and over, it's not because we cannot go for new things. No, it's because I personally believe that repetition is meant for emphasis. We want the thing to sink deep into your mind, into your heart, so that you will know that this is real. And so, over the months, I've been telling you that our Father, God Almighty, knows your name. But why is it that today I'm coming to present to you another prophetic word, which, if you don't have spiritual eyes, you may not understand? I want you to listen to this piece of music with this understanding that He reigns. He who knows the name of Ambazonia is reigning. And when He is reigning, guess what? The Ambazonian people that He knows their name definitely are reigning. But do you know that when somebody is reigning, there is always an adversary, there is always an enemy that tries to make his reign miserable? But I want to allow you to know, and I want to tell you that according to our history, we have started and we are reigning with Him. Just listen to this. I'll be right back.
This time, oh, now Jesus the reign. This time, oh, now Jesus the reign.
Thank you very much, brother, for that reminder. He reigns. And because He reigns, we are definitely reigning. Again, look at what I'm putting on here. Can you see? Ambazonia, 55th nation of Africa. So I want Ambazonians to know that your name has been changed. You are no more seeking for recognition. You are no more seeking for independence. Like I told you, independence is not given two times. Independence cannot be cancelled. It cannot be postponed. It cannot go back into referendum. No, that would be an abuse of the word and the proceedings of the power of first mention. Once we were given independence, we were independent. But guess what? We were very ignorant, and they tried to hide our independence from us. And they brought in a lot of philosophies that made it impossible for you and I to actually assimilate and know that we are independent. Please, I want to repeat here and go back to the archives and find out. The United Nations in the 60s, when the slave trade and maltreatment and partition of Africa was to be ended, they unanimously agreed that the African nations who have been under enslavement and under colonial rule by the whites, especially from the Europe. These people should have their freedom. And all the countries that were partitioned after the First World War, after the Second World War, were now determined to be given their autonomy and self-determination. When this took place, 1929 to be precise, the League of Nations at that time fragmented and divided Africa into countries, especially those that were occupied by these European imperialists. All right. In their demarcation, we came particularly to this wonderful, beautiful, God given country called Ambazonia now, because of the Ambas Bay. And this country, Ambazonia, was at that time called the British Southern Cameroons. And when the Britain were going away, during the time of this independence, the League of Nations was no more in existence. United Nations have been created that was taking care to make sure that no bigger nation oppresses the smaller one. And some people in the British, bought over by France, decided to tell a lie that Ambazonia could not rule itself. And we just heard from one of our elderly statesmen who told us that Ambazonia, the British Southern Cameroons at that time, or call it West Cameroon, was paying to the Queen of England 100,000 pounds a year as remuneration or whatever name they call it, and also was paying to the governing body that was around the peripherals 50,000 pounds a year for their upkeep. Now, how can a country as Ambazonia, we were not in Nigeria, we were not with Nigerians, we were not in La République du Cameroon, we were on our own, and this is how much we were paying to the Queen. It is history. And a number of people, a number of Ambazonians don't know this. Now, if we could raise such a money at that time, then how come that in 1961, after the resolution that was given for our nation to be free, Resolution 1608, suddenly met with poverty that we were told to join La République du Cameroon? And unfortunately, the same United Nations in Resolution 49, gave La République independence. And when they discovered that there was no way to manipulate us, they went ahead to do some certain things and block our forefathers from having access into the United Nations, of which they buried a lot of things, which we are digging out now. We dug out and discovered that France, that was keeping La République as a Class B territory under the mandate of the United Nations, never had independence from France. Because before then, 1st of January, that was supposed to be their Independence Day. Of course, there was no voting. Ahidjo was never voted into power. France just pick and choose him and put him there. And not only that, they signed an accord in 1958 and 1959 and mortgaged the whole of La République du Cameroon to France. And unfortunately, they crossed over to Ambazonia when the unfortunate thing happened, and they were hiding our own independence because they knew that we were people who were reasonable, people who were not drunkards, were not drinking rum at that time. Our minds were working. La République had cultivated occultism and the devil in solution, that's alcohol, and they were taking it, and so they could not reason. The Ambazonians were reasoning, and in the course of this reasoning, they decided to play a manipulation, which is still going on till tomorrow. But I want to let you know that that manipulation has come to an end, because on the 17th, 2017, October 1st, we discover that we have been in bondage, living as children, while we were already mature to get back our nation. And so our independence was restored. And we went back to the leadership of Dr. E.M.N. Indele, Dr. Jongu Foncha, Dr. Gomjua, and the rest follows. Now, when we went back to that restoration, La République, wanting to keep us in bondage, like their president confessed in 2019, well, we have tried to assimilate them and they cannot be assimilated. So they now found a way to oppress us and subjugate us to accepting to live as last class citizens, of which the average Ambazonian said no. And when they finally used tricks and methods and captured our leaders, took them to Kondenge, the worst prison that has ever existed on the face of the earth, with the torture and inhumane treatment, but they kept these people incommunicado for a long time. Anyway, fast forward, when they got to that place, some people who know that La République is a trickster accepted with La République to use our former president in prison to have control of a free people, of which the interim government at that time that was deputizing sat down together, knowing what a captive can be manipulated to do. They say we will not go back to Fumban using the captive or the captivated former president. I don't know who were his advisors. They ill advised him, and he started creating factions. And the factions have continued, because that is the moody operandi of La République du Cameroon. La République du Cameroon has about 8 to 9 million people, but with about 300 parties. Yes, they have about 300 parties. And with those 300 parties, just give me one moment.
Time for trouble, now Jesus the reign. Even though, this time, now Jesus the reign.
Yes, Jesus is reigning. When the people of Ambazonia, who already are not ignorant of what the people can do with a prisoner, they refuse the leadership of this guy, and they encourage him to create a schism in the body of the Ambazonian people, which is the game of La République. I told you La République now has about 9 million people, if I'm not underestimating, and they have 300 political parties. Can you imagine that? This is the game that France is doing to make sure that people are completely devastated. Let's keep that aside. Now, the players that we have had since we discover this, our move, and of course, it was not discovered right now. I've got some other young men who have a lot of stories, and they have been following up the unfolding things. Let me just read this to you. The people of Southern Cameroons, in their ad hoc All Anglophone Conference, assembled in 1994, solemnly resolved that on the expiry of a reasonable time and upon the continuing stubborn refusal by La République du Cameroun to end its annexation, colonial occupation, exploitation, oppression, domination, and massive human rights abuses, conditions exist for the Southern Cameroons to evoke its inalienable right of self-determination as a remedy of last resort and to come into being as a sovereign independent state. Go and ask Munzo, who wrote this. He is very, very aware of this. But where is him today? Go and ask a professor. Some people say we shouldn't call names. All right, I will not call names, but I've just mentioned these few spearheaded people who wrote this article, and today they are no more. No, why are they no more? Well, it's a long story, and it is history. I call it current events that are still unfolding. We shall come to that. But this article was written in 1994 by some of the people who understood that France does not practice democracy, and France does not practice federalism. There is no African nation that was colonized by France that is practicing federal system. When they came to the people of Ambazonia in 1961, and verbally with no documents, we tried the union, we discovered that they were tricksters. They never did want to go federalism. And today, even in their stubbornness, there are some Ambazonians who are still daydreaming that federalism can be practiced in the Republic. My dear friends, it is impossible. Whether they make it 20 states or 20 whatever, it is a lie. La République, ruled by France, will never allow any federal system. Remember in 1889, when Louis the 13th or Louis the 16th and Louis the 14th and Louis the 15th, I don't know which one of them, with Marie Antoinette as the wife, they came up and they said, l'état c'est moi. That is, I am the state. And when you go into any francophone African nation, anybody who comes in there as a leader, that person automatically declares that he is the state. And we are seeing it happening all over. And Ambazonians, I want to let you know that La République has done everything possible to make sure that they cajole us. They've come by force. It cannot work. Of course, they don't know how to speak a loving language. Their own is brutality. It has not worked. They brutalized the Bamleke people, and they were afraid, and they disappeared. But they never knew that the 2 cubes of sugar, because they came and divided us into 2 cubes of sugar, we were a lump. They used to call us West Cameroon, British Southern Cameroons. But when La République came, with their method of divide and rule, they decided to say Northwest and Southwest. And then eventually they started insulting us that we are 2 cubes of sugar. But unfortunately for them, the bond that exists between the Ambazonian people, whatever appellation they have tried to give them, it doesn't work. That bond is still working. And today, the 2 cubes of sugar have shown them pepper, and they're still showing them black and white. And they is going to show them Gono. Because if they don't get out of Ambazonia, they have started sinking. They will sink until they are finished. The few children of Israel in Egypt caused a havoc in that place because God was with them. We are not hiding it from you, La République. Please get out of our land. We know that there is no way you can frighten us as you frighten the Burmese and the Ran, even though many of them are amongst us trying to facilitate, not all of them, but many of them. But I tell you, the enemy in the house that is controlled by God can never win that house. The enemy will show every little hole. At the end of the day, he will fall into it. Now, Ambazonians, I came in to talk to you very specifically and very briefly to let you know that anybody who has ears to hear, let them hear. Especially you, ARF. I have told you, and I'm still telling you, as a historian, studying history, studying current events, studying civics, and studying geography and what other? Okay, whatever you call it. And I have come to realize that Ambazonians are wise people, but at the same time, they can be deceived by the deceit of La République, because that seed of La République of deception is still moving around some people. They will show you a shadow of what you can never have. Now, AR, listen, La République will promise you millions, but you will not get a dime because they don't have. And even if they have and they give it to you, you will not spend it. That is how Judas Iscariot was deceived. He sold the Lord himself and he could not spend the money. He went and hanged himself. The story is repeating in Ambazonia. Many of you ARFs, your colleagues have died. Who killed them? The money that they are running after. Because what the food they are eating in their homes, it appears they are not satisfied. But it is a shame, because you are not only eating food in your house, you have protection, you have a cover, you have everything, plus the little food that you are eating, and it can keep you going. Just go down the train and look at the line of those who have died, who came up with their heart to defend the land. What happened that they died before their time? It was not La République. It was in deceit that deceived you to join this group, join this militia, and the people are there scamming La République, giving you peanuts, and sending some of you to go and die. Let me tell you, anybody that went to Canada has a brown envelope, came home with a brown envelope, and you are the sacrificial lamb. You who is not in your LGA, you who is not in your county, you who is working for a private militia from your own county. He may be an individual from your village who has decided to sell you, like Commando was sold, like Ayeke was sold, like Ivor was sold. If you are not getting sense, please be advised. The times are very dangerous. Now, in Canada, the people who went to Canada were all Ambazonians. Where were the Republic people? Because they had nothing to go and discuss there. Most of this, if not all of these Ambazonians that went to Canada, have already mortgaged you. Yes, I mean you, the ARF. And you who is at home front, supporting them, supporting their criminality. They have mortgaged you. Can you imagine that it was Ambazonians? In fact, my president, Dr. Samuel Ekomesako, calls them our cousins. It was our cousins that sat face to face with our own Ambazonian people. Our cousins went and sat on the table of La République, speaking our language, trying to take us back into real bondage, into real slavery. My dear friends, I want to advise you, jump out from that boiling water. They're just hitting it small. But when it will boil, there will be no way for you. We are here to tell you to look back, look ahead, look sideways, and jump out. The interim government is advising all of you Ambazonians to get back to your LGA. We are facing La Republic as a government, not as a council, not as a group, not as anything, and we must face La Republic of Cameroon with an international mediator, because La Republic, they are foxes. They are telling a lot of lies. More than 20 years ago, they talk about Ring Road. More than 25 years ago, they talk about rebuilding the WAF in Victoria and in Tico, and rebuilding the airport in Tico, and so on. My dear country people, has it ever materialized? Recently, to deceive you the more, knowing that some of you are still having breast milk in your heads, you don't know their roots. But we have gone into history and discovered that they are paternal and maternal liars. When they tell you stand here, take 2 steps and look well before you can make any stand, because they are lying. They have not come up that they are going to build the seaport in Victoria. They are going to put back the Tico airport. They are moving some equipment to deceive you. A few years ago, before we went into this, time will fail me to tell you, Ambazonians, that these people are criminals. And I've discovered that some of us, especially some of our cousins, are gullible. And they have been deceived. They have been brainwashed. They have been hypnotized. And they are just moving like fools that cannot control themselves, because they have put their hands into a situation where they have told them that they can never come out. Mr. John Gute, Tazon, and all of you, please, I want to tell you, the secret society that you have entered, and they've told you that if you try, you will die. I want to inform you that anyhow, anyway, you are going to die one day. But there is good news for you. You can come out from that society and you will not die. We have the antidote. Jesus can set you free and you will not die when you come out from that society. The only thing that is remaining is your willingness to get out. If you are willing to get out of that society, we are ready as Ambazonians to rescue you. The ball is in your court. We love all Ambazonians, but we will not beg any enabler and any coup plotter, as we have been telling you, to go back to your LGA. Yes, we want you to go back to your LGA, because we know that some of you have been deceived, and some of you who came out to scam La Republic, some have successfully scammed them, and some are still trying. La Republic, I want to tell you, most of our cousins who are in your midst, telling you that they can do this, they can deliver this to you and give this to you, is all a lie. They cannot. They are all scammers. All right. It appears we have a caller on the line. Let me find out. I'm on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I thought that was a caller to say something, but it was one of us, an Ambazonian of great repute, one of the statesmen of Ambazonia, just saying, right on, educate us. Remember, in our history, we are not to call anybody names, but when it comes to the name that we need to call you, we will call you. You know why? Because the history book I'm reading has very fantastic and wonderful stories. There was a man that was under and called the friend of God. They called him David. God so much loved him that he talked so much about him. But guess what? When David did that which was not to be done, shameful, his name was announced. and broadcast it so that others can learn. So when we call their name for evil, we mean to make other people to learn. Please, our history, that's why I boycott all the evil people that did us evil. I don't want to mention their names so much in our history. I go to the positive because they did something. And today, I want to encourage you, those of you who are without knowledge, you have gone to follow all kinds of social media talk, and you have not come here to be told. Somebody in the social media said, Dr. Sako has never lost anybody in this war because he's with La Republic. But let me tell you that his direct brother, junior brother, died. He was captured and killed. And I mean, there are a number of things that have happened for this man because of this war. I, speaking here, the most senior sister of mine died a death that was not hers because of this invasion of La Republic. What am I saying? Anybody who has seen the maltreatment right inside your own house, you will not sit down and begin to follow these adventurers who are our cousins, who are trying to see if they can sell us for 30 pieces of silver or more. Well, La Republic, as honest as we are telling you that all the Ambazonians in your midst who are scamming you, thinking that, saying that they are going to hand us over to you, is a lie. You can never have us no more. We are gone, we are gone. We are the 55th nation in Africa. Look at it on my shirt. That is our name. Ambazonia, 55th African nation. That's who we are. And we are going by this name. Ladies and gentlemen, it is at this juncture I will say bye for today and meet you again tomorrow. And remember, our guests are coming back. Yesterday, Palm Michael gave us a statistic that we will be repeating this statistic for you to learn. In fact, he told us that the Ambazonian politicians at that time were not kept in a place to be corrupted like La Republic has done. I shall come back with that to explain what that one means. But for today, I have a story. And the story is that you can come in and have this Jesus, and he will transform you, and you will be a real Ambazonia, and you will do the way you're supposed to do as it was before. Long live the Federal Republic of Amazonia. Short live this fight. Ambazonia, 55th nation of Africa. Hooray!